This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN Network, and we are a proud media sponsor for the upcoming Precious Metals Summit Beaver Creek, which is being held virtually this year. And joining me right now is Danny Callow. He is the CEO of African Gold Group. It's a publicly traded company. I got two symbols for you, AGG on the TSX Venture and AGGFF in the US. Danny, thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
No, great. Thanks, Robert. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, let's start with a quick overview and history of the company, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, great. So we're a gold-focused development exploration company. We've just finished our definitive feasibility study, so we're a ready for construction gold company, as you mentioned, listed on the TSX, with our main assets in Mali and Burkina Faso. The asset that I guess we'll spend most of the time talking about today is our flagship Kobada asset in southern Mali. And that is the really exciting asset that we have been working on quite hard over the last 9 months or so.
Well, let's dig a little deeper into that project. You know, I'm not even going to pretend to try and pronounce it, so I will leave that to you. And you could say much better than I can. But your flagship asset, let's talk about it a little bit more. What would you say makes it unique and different compared to some of your peers?
Okay, well, look, we're in southern Mali, so I guess as Mali goes, it's the right place to be. We're smack bang in the middle of the Birimian Greenstone Belt. We're surrounded by most of the major gold companies in the world who have very profitable and successful projects there. And we're very close to Bamako. So in terms of getting from the capital to our asset, it's a 3.5-hour drive, which makes a big difference when you need to get logistics in and out. It's certainly from a security perspective, the safest part of Mali. There has been no incidents in that region. And I think what makes us unique is that we have about 300 square kilometers of exploration and mining permits all joined up together. We've only drilled around 15% of those assets to get a 2.3 million ounce resource and a 755,000 ounce reserve. So in terms of exploration upside, we have some huge opportunities there to grow the resource very quickly. But apart from that, we are now in a position that we have a definitive feasibility study that's ready to go. We have detailed engineering complete, so we can start construction as soon as we raise the money to get the project going. So I think all of those are unique selling propositions for us. We also have a second asset in in Burkina Faso called Madougou. That's an early stage exploration asset, but something that's very, very exciting. Very close to Endeavour's Karma assets, so in a very prolific gold producing region as well. So between the two, I think we have exceptional assets in very, very good gold producing regions in West Africa.
So I also have to ask, and this is probably something you get asked all the time, you know, and as someone, as we just talked offline, who just realized that Cape Town and Johannesburg are only a 2-hour flight away from each other, you know, so forgive my ignorance, but, you know, I'd love to learn a little bit more about the geopolitical situation, both Burkina Faso and Mali. You know, what does that look like right now?
Okay, thanks for asking. So look, I think my experience in Mali certainly is that it's a very stable mining regime. It's very investor friendly. The government are very amenable to foreign investment, so they make it very easy to get in and get exploring. I find that the Ministry of Mines particularly is very experienced in bringing investors in, so we see that we have a lot of assistance when we go and see them, and certainly in terms of the mining code and the way that they deal with international investors, it's very progressive in my experience in Africa. And I think that, you know, it's one of those places that gets a bad rap, unfortunately, because of issues that are happening in the central and the northern part. But as I mentioned up front, we are really in the southern part, very close to the Guinea border on the banks of the Niger River. It's beautiful down there. It's semi-tropical, as opposed to very arid like you expect in Mali. And I think that I personally, from my 28 years of experience in Africa, I find the Malian people exceptionally willing and able and really, really looking forward to us getting going on construction there.
And what's your background? You said you have 28 years of experience working in Africa. I take it prior to African Gold Group, you also worked on some other mining projects in the area.
Yeah, I have a fairly different background to most people that are running junior mining companies today. My background, I'm a mining engineer for a start. Normally, you have geologists running these companies. I spent 28 years in Africa. I'm originally from the UK, but 28 years in Africa, started off in deep level gold mining, moved across into copper, cobalt, and I spent the last 12 years prior to African Gold Group with a company called Glencore International, so the third largest mining company in the world. And I was involved in building around $2.5 billion worth of projects with them in Africa, in some of the toughest regions that they operate in the DRC and Zambia. And we grew a very, very successful copper cobalt business within Glencore in Africa. And I spent 5 years of that 12 years running that division. To put things into perspective, that was around 45,000 employees, 500,000 tons of copper, 60,000 tons of cobalt. And really, you know, people ask me, why on earth did you leave Glencore and step down into the junior mining game? And it's an interesting story. I mean, I think that you would expect somewhere like Glencore to be highly pressurized. I spent a lot of time away from my family. I decided to take a sabbatical, which lasted all of a month. And then this opportunity came along, and gold was moving in the right direction. I'd started my career in gold. This project was fantastic. I saw opportunities to really turn it around. It needed a bit of TLC up front, so some more drilling, some more metallurgical test work, and obviously to get to this definitive study. But I saw an opportunity here that I think could be something that grows into not only a large project, but also a very large portfolio of projects within the African Gold Group. And certainly that's the reason why I'm involved. I'm certainly not interested in a single asset, single country. And I think that African Gold Group, with the type of assets that we have and are looking at every day, could be the next mid-tier miner in West Africa.
And with that, from what you can tell us, what would you say are some of the company's value catalysts now moving forward?
Well, look, we've delivered a really, really robust definitive feasibility study. The study itself shows an all-in sustaining cost of $782 an ounce. That's certainly in the lower quartile costs of West African producers. Operating costs of around $700 an ounce, 100,000 ounce a year operation, so it ticks the box on that. Massive exploration upside, as I mentioned, where we see that we can quite easily go above 1 million ounces of reserve within the next 6 to 9 months. And we're undervalued in terms of our peers right now. We're seen still, I guess, as an explorer and not a constructor, and that's something that we need to obviously change the perception of, hence the reason why we spend time at great conferences like this. But I think that overall it's a great investment proposition. We've just completely changed our board. So we now have some really, really good board members on board who share the same vision as me to grow the company quite quickly. All of them have backgrounds in finance and mining. We've got John Begerman on board as well, who has done exactly the same thing as this in a number of junior gold companies. So I think we've got a board, I think we've got a management team, I think we've got an asset, and I think we've got an amazing feasibility study with massive exploration upside that really, I would say, is a great investment opportunity for anyone.
And with that, where can my audience go and find everything they need to know about African Gold Group?
Well, obviously we have our website. That's www.africangoldgroup.com. On there we have our latest investor presentation, all our press releases. You can subscribe to that and get our press releases downloaded. You'll see us on social media, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter, as we all do these days.
Thank you, Danny, so much for joining us today. I really do appreciate it. Good luck, stay safe, and I look forward to our next update.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Again, my name is Robert Kraft. I'm your host on SNN Network, and we're a proud media sponsor for the upcoming Precious Metals Summit Beaver Creek happening virtually this year. You'll see Danny there, and thank you for joining in and listening today.
Thank you as well. Bye-bye.